recipes, and I just developed a passion for it because, after having children at an early age, you got to feed them.
Correct.
And that's the one thing that I appreciated about, having children is that, when you nurture them, you have to nurture them all the way around,
right.
Mentally, physically, and food has just been something that I just love to do. I love to get in that kitchen and whip up things, and my kids appreciate it. They love being in there with me, helping me out.
Okay.
So, it's just something that, I love to do.
Like when your mom, your grandmom cooked, my mom, my grandma, my aunts cooked, they didn't have recipes. It was just all in their head.
All up here.
Is that how you cook?
That's how I cook.
Okay.
I don't, measure it. I ain't got no measurements. I ain't got no measurements. Okay. It's just, I know how to season. Right. I know how much seasoning to put on on food. And it's all about the eye.
Mm-hmm. So when you're cooking, you're in the kitchen. What you listening to? Or do you even listen to music while you cooking?
I really don't listen to music at all at home.
Not at home, at home.
At home, my kids are into piano.
Okay.
All three of them, they play piano. My son's, he's big time with, plays and just different things like that, musicals. So I watch them and I just pay attention to what they're doing.
Right.
And I don't try to push my music on them too much.
Okay.
Because I'll be in there listening to Stevie and, Otis Redding and, people like that.
Do your kids know who you are? Not take dad aside. Do they know Bobby Brown? I know they know dad, but do they know Bobby?
They know Bobby. Okay. They definitely know Bobby.
Okay.
Yeah. They've watched. I allow them to see the programs that are meaningful.
Okay.
That have some substance to it. Mm-hmm. They come out to the concerts. So they get a good taste of what their father's all about.
Do you think your kids are going to follow in your footsteps? Or do you want them to follow in your footsteps?
Well, my little girl, she's 9 years old.
Okay.
She has a voice like an angel.
Wow.
And I am so impressed by her. Every time she opens her mouth, I just start crying. Mm-hmm. My son, he's so super talented. I believe he's going to win an Oscar one day.
Wow.
So, as far as following in my footprints, yeah. I have no problem with it. Their mother's a manager, so she can take care of the business. And I'm there to lend my hand with getting them to the right places.
What is something that your fans don't know about Bobby? What's one thing they would be like, hey, man, he does that, or he did this, or he likes that?
I'm quiet.
Really?
I'm very quiet.
Okay.
I'm very reserved. When it's time to talk, I'll talk. But, for the most part, I'm going to sit back and watch and observe, and see what the hell is going on first.
Let me ask you a question. Of all the songs that you've recorded, what do you think? My Prerogative, Mr. Telephone Man, Candy Girl, Every Little Step, Cool It Now, Ronnie, Don't Be. What's Bobby's favorite song?
Prerogative.
Prerogative. Because
I wrote it for myself.
Okay.
I wrote it, as an anthem and as a theme to my lifestyle and what I was all about. Mm-hmm. And that's basically the reason I think I'm still here 42 years later is, that I took what I felt about myself and I put it on wax.
Wow. What do you remember most when you're writing a song? So let me ask you a question. So you said My Prerogative is an anthem for Bobby Brown because I'm going to do things my way. I'm going to do things on my term. And if you don't like it, oh, well, go to hell. But this is so when you're writing a song, when you go into I don't know whether you're at your bed, you're in the kitchen table. When you go in to write a song, do you have a general idea of kind of the direction that you want to go in?
For the most part, we choose the music first.
Okay.
And once I get a groove in my head and once I get a melody going, there's no stopping it. It just starts pouring out.
Because I think Teddy Riley is produced that, right?
Yes, Teddy Riley.
Okay, so you like Teddy, I got this idea. It's an anthem, it's an ode to me because y'all, they say I'm bad, they say I'm this and that. Well, I'm gonna show them why I'm this way. So what is Teddy's role in My Prerogative?
Teddy's role in My Prerogative was bringing that slamming ass track. That track was so beefy and
Right.
so in your face that only something like My Prerogative could be said on that.
Correct.
Teddy's a great producer, great friend, and I'm really proud that we still have a friendship and we still have more music to do.
Okay.
We're not finished yet.
In the studio, what do you think your favorite moment is when you've been in the studio?
When I've been in the studio, my favorite moments are listening back to the finished product.
Okay.
When you finish a song and the song is completed and you have no more work to do on it, it's listening down and making sure everything is tight.
Did you know My Prerogative was going to do what it did?
I hoped.
Okay.
I hoped. But the track was so in your face and it was undeniable as a record. We really hoped that track was going to make this album, the Don't Be Cruel album, the most popular album of
And
that.
did.
And it did.
Because when you hear My Prerogative, that means I'm going to do whatever My Prerogative is, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it.
Right.
Now, you do what you want to do. I don't care. And if you got a problem with it, this is My Prerogative. Because you can't, and it says, I think at the end you said, I made this track. You didn't.
I made this money. You didn't.
Right.
Ted?
So you was doing what you wanted to do. If I
Right.
wanted to go buy 3 cars, I'm going to buy 3 cars. If
That's
I want to
right.
buy 4 houses, I'm going to buy 4 houses. That's My Prerogative. And then everybody started saying it.
Yeah.
Is that what you'd hoped?
I hoped for it. Just recently at the Super Bowl,
Right.
The Eagles
Right.
Coach said that they listened to My Prerogative before they went out.
Right.
And that just took me back because it was about it's about the underdog.
Right.
And overcoming what any adversities that there is, any challenges. You just give your all, you give your all and you basically just take what is yours.
Right. Is there a song that you made that you like, I like it, and it was like, it blew up?
Probably Every Little Step.
Really?
Every Little Step or Don't Be Cruel. I did not like the songs. I didn't want to record the songs. But LA and Babyface were like, dude, these records are going to be smash hits. And I was just like, you know what? Well, let's do them. But I don't know if,
Right.
they're going to be singles.
I just want you to know, if they don't hit, I'm going to tell everybody y'all wanted to make this. I ain't want no part of this. So you like, I don't know, LA, but they're hit makers.
They're hit makers.
Do you have to do you always have to trust those guys, or do sometimes you go with your instincts like, nah?
I trusted my producers.
Okay.
Because, they have what I call this the ear. They
Right.
have the ear to hear what I can't hear.
Okay.
And that's why I trust them, and I love working with all of them. It's a lonely road, when you don't at least try to trust somebody else,
Right.
to bring you to the brink of, success.
Is that a prerequisite that you have to have a relationship with the producer, that you need to be close, that you need to trust him or her that's going to be in your ear, that's going to be the ear that you can't hear with?
Yes.
Do you have to trust that individual?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Are you surprised that the songs that you sang 30 years ago, 35 years ago, are still being played today and they're so popular?
Very surprised. After 42 years in this industry, we haven't put out a record in probably 10 of those years. And we're still touring. We're still keeping up with our fan base. Our fan base is probably one of the strongest fan bases that any group or any individual
Very,
can have.
very true.
Any for lifers, they keep coming back. They keep coming back. They keep coming back to every show. I mean, they helped us sell out the last 2 years here in the States.
Wow.
With the Legacy Tour and the Culture Tour.
Mm-hmm.
And they've come to Vegas and sold those shows out. So it's been wonderful to have fans like that.
When someone comes to you and wants to sample your music, talking to LL says, I don't let anybody sample it before I hear what they're actually putting on my over my track. So when someone comes to Bobby and says, hey, Mr. Brown, we really would like to sample this song, do you need to hear it or do you just
Yes,
clear
I
it?
gotta hear it. Gotta hear it.
You gonna put the bull job on it, Bobby?
You don't know what these kids will say these days. These kids will say some that you don't want your song
associated with. Yes.
So yeah, you got to listen to it.
Who do you believe sampled one of your songs the best?
I don't think they did justice.
Okay.
I don't think they really did justice to any of the samples that they have done to my songs. Like Britney Spears butchered.
Damn, Bobby.
She butchered Prerogative. Teddy Riley produced it, but that was a butchering that I couldn't take it.
But you cleared it.
I cleared it only because it was Britney Spears, and I was thinking
she gonna do it right. She gonna do it good. Yeah, nice.
Teddy Riley's doing it too.
Yeah.
So but I felt it was a butchering.
You've heard of speed dating, right? You meet a bunch of people in one go, quickly making connections. Well, what if I told you there's something just like that? But for hiring, if you're running a business and need to find great talent, imagine meeting several qualified candidates at once, all at a designated time. Well, good news, there is Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You can post your job today and start talking to qualified candidates tomorrow. And right now, you can try Zip Intro for free at ziprecruiter.com/Shay Shay. Zip Intro lets you meet and assess excellent candidates through back-to-back video calls. Pick a time that works for you, and Zip Intro takes care of finding and scheduling the perfect candidates. Then you get to choose who you want to meet, and you'll be talking to great people as soon as tomorrow. It's that easy. Enjoy the benefits of speed hiring with new Zip Intro, only from ZipRecruiter, the #1 hiring site based on G2. Try Zip Intro for free at ziprecruiter.com/Shay Shay. Again, that's ziprecruiter.com/Shay Shay. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Why do you believe you were such a trendsetter in the 80s and 90s?
Because I was fearless. I had nobody to look at in competition with.
Okay.
I believe there was Michael, there was Prince, and all I was trying to do was be the best artist that I could possibly be. Mm-hmm. So I mixed up Michael, Prince, Rick James, and Stevie Wonder, mm-hmm. and tried to be what all of them were not.
Right.
And that became Bobby Brown.
You popularized the Roger Rabbit dance, the Running Man, the high top fade that slanted to the direction. What made you cut your hair like that? What made you like, I'm gonna do this?
That was a mistake. That was a mistake.
The barber F you up?
The barber F me up, and I had to shoot a video, and it just, it stuck. It just stuck.
And people actually went and got their hair cut like that.
I know. Let me tell you a story. I went to the late great Quincy Jones's house.
Okay.
One time, and I'm looking at all the photos in his house, and he's talking to me and he's giving me advice. And I see this one picture where this old guy had the slanted hair. And I was like, yo, this old man got my hair cut. He was like, that picture is 40 something years old, and that's my grandfather.
Wow.
and his grandfather had a Gumby, and I was just like, wow. Gumby was around before.
Yes.
So I wasn't the first one to do it, but I was the first one to bring something back to our culture that was about us, you know, and about our individuality, you know, how we are trendsetters.
Right.
And I was just proud. I was just really proud that I had a haircut like somebody else back in the days, you know.
You mentioned like you took a little bit from Prince, you took a little bit from Michael Jackson, you took a little bit from Stevie Wonder, you took a little bit from Rick James. So that was your source of inspiration, but you're kind of more Rick James because you was labeled a bad boy, Bobby.
Right.
Was that an accident? Was that on purpose? You needed something to make Bobby stand out? Why did you adopt that personality? Or is that who you really are?
That was really who I am on stage.
Okay.
On stage, I do not discriminate with what I do. I try to give the best concert I could possibly give. I try to give all of the energy that I have stored up in my body. That came from watching Rick James on stage.
Yeah.
When New Edition was on the Cold Blooded tour, opening up for Rick James, he would have me watch his show every night. Every night he would just say, stand on the side of the stage and watch my show. Don't say nothing about it, just watch my show. And he never knew I was gonna go solo, but he felt that I think that I admired him so much. I admired his music so much. He wanted me to experience what a live performance really is about.
Right.
And it's about giving your all, give blood, sweat, and tears out there.
You got to entertain.
You got to
just sing the song, but you got to entertain that audience.
Entertain that audience and keep their attention.
Right.
And that was one thing about Rick that he never slacked off about. You know, it was always about entertaining the audience.
Bobby, you had the MC Hammer pants first. Now Hammer gets credit for them, but you were wearing Hammer's.
Yeah. He asked me to actually wear them.
Oh, did he?
He actually asked me to wear them, and I was like, yeah, man, they're pants. I got the pants from New Edition.
Right.
So New Edition wore them before I did, and then I wore them, and then Hammer wore them.
Right.
And it was just about fashion. It was just about keeping a trend going.
Right.
And I'm proud of that.
When you see people bring back trends, what do you think? Because a lot of things it seem like, you remember you and I think we're pretty much close in age. I'm about to be 57.
I'm 56. I just turned 56.
Okay. You remember the bell bottoms?
Bell bottoms.
Okay. Then they went to the skinny jeans. Now they back to the bell bottoms.
Yes.
Everybody, the oversized suits. They're back to the oversized suits. When you see trends come back in, does that make you smile? Like
that really makes me feel a little bit older than I actually am. You know, I don't want to ever feel like I'm getting old or
right.
getting out of touch with, you know, anything my children might be
right.
getting into, you know. But when they come back around, you know, I get a chance to tell my kids, listen, we used to
way back before
we used to wear our pants just like that. You know, the skinny jeans, I don't know where that came from, but that is something that was just not. We never wore skinny jeans.
No, exactly.
You know, growing up when I grew up, skinny jeans was a fad that hopefully doesn't come back.
We don't want that to come. You don't want that to come back.
We don't want that to come back no time soon.
Okay, what trend would you like to see come back?
But we still got the afro.
Yeah,
I'm loving the afro.
They don't rock it as much. I mean,
they don't rock it as much. They rock the braids,
the twist.
Yeah, there's a lot of dreads out there now. Unfortunately, you know, I can't grow all my hair back. There's some spots that won't grow.
Oh, but you could grow some hair. I mean, you got.
I can grow hair.
It'll be splotchy.
It'll have a spot right here.
Okay.
And that is not a hairstyle that I want to
okay,
people to follow.
Right. Is it true that you taught Michael Jackson how to moonwalk?
Sideways.
Okay.
Sideways, not
the backwards.
Not the back one.
But you go
Just go sideways.
right. So how did you teach him? So what I mean, so what you went over to his house, or
we went over to his house,
okay.
and we were doing it in front of him, New Edition, and
right.
I don't know if he already knew how to do it, but
right.
I know that when we showed him, he was flabbergasted.
Right.
He was like, "Wow, that's something new."
Right. So he put it in his thing and just
he perfected it.
It was over.
It was over. He took it and perfected it.
What's your best memory of Michael?
My best memory of Michael is how kind and how just how kind he was as a man.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't find people like that anymore. Michael was somebody that trusted and believed in Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
Michael was somebody that trusted and believed in what he was about as a man,
mm-hmm.
what he was about as an entertainer. He knew how special he was. And that impressed me,
right.
you know? It always has impressed me.
Right. There's always a debate. Who's the closest, in your time, who is the closest thing to Michael since Michael? You know, you hear Chris Brown, you hear Usher.
I would go with Chris Brown.
Really?
I would go with Chris Brown.
Because of the dancing and the singing aspect
Chris
of it?
Brown is a dancer, singer, slash great entertainer.
Right, okay.
He goes out there and he does the ultimate stuff on stage, and you just have to love it. Usher's also a great entertainer, but I got to go with Chris on being as close to Michael as anybody could ever get.
And it was great to see Breezy at the Grammy get to win that
Finally
Grammy. To finally get his due. Long
Yes.
overdue, but hey, right on time.
Yes.
Usher said he looked up to you.
Yeah.
Say because you kind of related to you in the industry more than anyone else. When you hear one of this generation's great performers, one of the great R&B singers says that, you know, Bobby was kind of the muse that I used to kind of develop what I did. How did that make you feel?
Makes me feel great because he's a great entertainer. I've known Usher since he was 12,
right.
11, 12 years old, and just seeing his growth in the industry and seeing how well he holds himself up, how well he takes care of his business. I'm really proud of him.
Do you remember the first time? Did he come to your show? Was it an arranged meeting? Do you remember? You say you've known him since he was 12. How did that meeting happen?
I had a security guard who found Usher, and he brought him to the shows.
Okay.
He brought him to the studios. I had a studio in Atlanta, Georgia, and he just was always around.
Okay.
He brought him to be around me and to learn what this thing of ours is all about.
Right. Which new artist does Bobby listen to today? Is there anybody that you know, like, man, I really like he or her? You like? I mean, I like this sound. I like the way they do what they do.
I love all of the females, the new females that's out there right now. Jasmine Sullivan
Yes.
and all of them. SZA.
Yeah. Him.
I love Anthony Hamilton is probably one of my favorite artists out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
As far as soul and R&B is concerned, he's definitely keeping it alive.
I mean, Tim's, not him.
Tim's, yeah.
I love, man, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She is absolutely amazing. R&B, we get this a lot. I asked Usher this. I've asked a lot of people that's appeared on Club Shay Shay. Is R&B dead?
No. R&B is never gonna die. R&B is something that it's made up of what they call popular music.
Okay. So it's been interwoven. It's not dead. It's just been interwoven in a lot of different things.
A lot of different things. You have Bruno Mars, who's keeping the R&B New Jack sound alive.
Yes.
Which is great for anybody who loves that style of music. Okay. That style of music will never die. It will never die.
Who's some of the, you mentioned like, are there any guys that you like? You mentioned like Jasmine Sullivan, you mentioned like Tim's, you mentioned some of the females. Other than Anthony Hamilton, who's your R&B guys?
I like Chris. I like Usher. There's a lot of them out there, a lot of new cats out there that I can't, figure their names out, but a lot of new songs that are out there that are really R&B orientated really impress me.
Who's the king of R&B?
Who's the king of R&B?
King of R&B.
I don't know.
So
it's a big question.
It is.
Who's the king of R&B?
Well, how about this here? Give me your Mount Rushmore. If you got 4 people to put on this mountain, are your 4 greatest, or Bobby Brown's 4 greatest R&B singers, who faces you putting on that mountain?
Damn. You're calling me out right now.
I know one's gonna be up there, Marvin Gaye. You're gonna put Marvin up there.
Marvin is definitely up there. Prince is definitely up there.
Okay.
Michael's definitely up there. Stevie Wonder is definitely up there.
You ain't got no more. You got no more room.
You ain't got no more room.
No more room. I'm sorry. We have no more vacancies up here. Let me ask you this: streaming. That seems to be a lot. Because Bobby, when you first started, it was all the hard copies. You went to the store and you waited in line and you couldn't wait to buy that, that 45 or the 30 or whatever you're gonna buy. You couldn't wait to get that actual copy of the vinyl.
Right.
Now, it's not so much like that. Streaming is kind of where it is now. What are your thoughts on streaming?
Streaming is something that basically has stretched the game out.
Okay.
The game is not the same anymore. You can't sell records. So the artist doesn't get paid as much as they are supposed to.
Okay.
Streaming is basically a robbery of selling records. It's
stealing somebody's intellectual property, huh?
You're stealing it, and it's not something that I look at to be something for the future. I think the future should have, because when you buy an album, you get to look at that album, you get to read who's done what on the album.
Yep.
You get the pictures, you get all of this great information when you look at an album cover.
Correct.
And
you get to hold
streaming,
it.
you actually get to hold it. It's yours.
Yes.
And now you know.
Do you have a vinyl collection? Did you keep all those albums that you collected that back in the day? Do you have them all?
I don't have them all.
You let them go?
I let them go. Unfortunately. I don't know how I did it.
Right.
Just leaving certain situations and leaving stuff here and then leaving stuff here.
Somebody out there got Bobby Brown's
somebody's
vinyl collection.
got my vinyl collection and I want it back. I ain't playing. I want my back.
Bobby used to sell 12 million physical copies.
Yes.
12 million albums. Physical. People went into the line or they ordered it or however they got it, but they got that many copies. Do you think we'll ever see someone sell that many physical records again?
I would hope so. I would really hope so. If they bring vinyl back, if they find a different way to sell albums, I would hope so, because it's a lot of people out there that listen to music that can't speak the language. Mm-hmm. They learn how to speak English by listening to music. And those people need albums. They need the actual physical album to be able to do that.
You mentioned earlier that streaming has cut some of the process. So walk us through. So like if you were, let's just say for the sake of argument, if streaming was available back then and you record all these songs, obviously, you probably wasn't independent. I forget what label you were on. So the record company would take it to the streaming service and they would play it? Because how does that work?
I tell you the truth, I don't know how streaming works these days because I'm so out of the loop of, putting out records. That, my past record label was MCA Records, Universal.
Right.
And they still have a stronghold on what the industry is about right now. They still have a stronghold on it. But I'd just like to see the artists get their just dues, you know, get the monies that they deserve to receive for making this music and selling this music to the people.
I mean, you get a little change. I mean, your stuff is streaming. I mean, they can go on and listen to Don't Be Cruel and My Prerogative and all that stuff. So
I still get a check. I still get checks.
It's a nice little check.
It's nice little checks. I'm living.
If a new artist came to you for advice, what's the first thing you tell them?
Tell them to always practice on their craft. Always rehearse. Always hold yourself accountable for performing for people. The stage is everything. It allows you to have the longevity in this industry when you're a great performer. Now, I don't care how many records you've sold. If you can't perform on stage, perform live, there's no reason for you to be in this industry.
Wow. As a kid star, growing up in Boston, become this megastar, come into this large sum of money, more money than you thought you could ever do. How difficult was it for you to stay grounded and not lose sight of who Bobby was?
My mother and my father.
Okay.
They told me I was never too big to get an ass whooping.
You're like, but Mom, Dad, I'm making all this bread.
Yeah,
you can't be somebody that's making this money.
Nah, I was never too old to, take an ass whooping or give one out. No, it just to me, this is entertainment, and I hold that to heart. I hold that dearly. It's about performing for people, and it's about making the money and not letting the money make you.
How difficult was it to be famous at a young age? Did you change, or did the surroundings
around you change?
Oh, okay.
People around you change a lot.
They view you differently? They expect
things from you. They expect you to do things for them that, you wouldn't normally do for a person. They expect if you're the one with the money, they are your friend, so they should, benefit also. And I still have the same friends that I had back in the days, because my friends always kept me grounded. They always made sure that I remembered who I was and remember who I am as a person.
How was family?
Family is family something else. Family is definitely something else.
I mean, was it hard for you to tell family no?
It still is.
Really?
It still is.
Because being a ex-professional athlete and having some success and being in media space, it's always a situation like when you come into something, it's we. But when we lose something, it's you.
It's me.
Man, we rich. He broke. Whoa, aren't we all broke? So it was we had money.
Right.
I mean, I'm broke now. It's just me. So your family come to you because it's like, now all of a sudden, they see Bobby with a new car, they need a new car.
Right.
They see Bobby with a nice watch, they want to watch. They see Bobby got a new home. Hey.
Where's mine?
So how do you, because you look.
In the beginning, I would give my family everything.
Really?
I mean, everything. From houses to cars to jewelry to money. And as I grew up, I learned that I have a family. I have kids. I have a wife. That I have to take care of.
Correct.
And some things have to stay that way. You can't give what you ain't got to everybody. You have to, make sure you take care of home first.
And it is hard for family
and
to
it's
understand.
hard for family to understand that.
But Bobby, we family. Bro, I was with you when you ain't have nothing.
And
You remember you used to come to my house and eat them syrup sandwiches, the mayonnaise sandwiches? That should be worth about 50 grand. Because it's funny though, but in all honesty, is that people did for you, like now we owe them something. Okay, bro, I had a meal at your house. Is that worth $25,000? Damn.
Can I cook for you also? Let me cook a meal for you.
That's payback?
That's payback. Payback enough.
Here's something special for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code MONEYMOVES. That's code MONEYMOVE for new customers to get $150 in bonus bet if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. When you sold 12 million hard copies, how much money did you actually see from that?
I saw a
lot of it, huh?
A lot of it. I saw a lot of it. Because my deal was situated in a way where I made, money, dollars on each record.
Okay.
So
okay.
Not pennies. So for me, the way my mother had it structured, and the way my management made it so that I saw a lot of the money. I still see checks,
do you still see checks, Bob?
I still see checks. So, it's not like the money is gone.
Right.
It's still in a way where I feel like my best years are yet to be, yet to come.
Is that why it's so important for artists to keep their masters, to keep their catalog?
Yes. You have to. If after first 35 years, I obtained my masters.
Okay.
So now I own my own masters and I can do what I want to do with my music.
Would you ever consider selling it?
No time soon.
You're like, hell, I just got it back. I ain't trying to get up off it.
I ain't trying to get up off it at all.
Like, if you had to guess, what song do you think says, okay, they put the most money in the bank account. They make sure that the wife and the kids, that we gonna be good.
Which song?
What song you think pays you the most?
I think the Don't Be Cruel album, period. Mm-hmm. Because we had 6, 7 singles off of that album.
Right.
That whole album pays me enough to live.
Wow.
Today.
That's nice. With a wife and 3 kids?
With a wife and 3 kids.
That ain't bad living.
5 kids.
Oh, my bad. 5 kids. That ain't bad living, Bob.
Yeah. 3 grandchildren.
Wow.
Yeah.
What have you learned when it comes to the music industry and contracts?
You got to be careful.
They'll get you?
They get you. Have a great lawyer. Always have a lawyer look at all your contracts. Doesn't matter what you have to pay that lawyer. As long as that lawyer is doing his job, it'd be worth it to let a lawyer look at it.
If you can go back and re-sign a contract, what would you do over it? You're here you are now, 56 years of age. If I could transport you back 42 years, what would you do different?
I'd be independent.
From the jump?
From the jump. I would bust my ass every concert, every promotional thing that I had to do to make sure that I sold the records and performed at my best ability.
Is it a situation when you do an album, how long after you do an album do you think about, okay, I got the tour?
Right away.
So what's common? When do most albums drop, or is there a set time in which albums drop?
Nowadays, people drop albums every 6 months.
Okay.
I dropped the album every 3 years. And it was just like because we were touring so much,
Dropped the album, and so
dropped
now
the
you
album.
tour.
We tour for the next 3 years.
Wow.
That's what we did on the Don't Be Cruel. That's what we did on the Bobby Brown, the Bobby album. We toured. We just toured and toured all around the world.
Do you think back of some of the contracts that you signed and some of the money that you left on the table? You're like, damn, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah. It was a lot of money left. There's a lot of money left.
New Edition first deal. Is it true you guys only made $500 at a VCR with the New Edition before it went solo?
Yes.
$500 at a VCR?
$500 in the VCR.
That's all you got?
And our royalty was like $1.68. Our royalty check was like $1.68. But we got $500 to sign and a VCR. Well, it was a Betamax at the time.
So which one of you guys were the lawyer?
Neither one of us was good at being a lawyer.
So you guys got raked across the coal on that first contract with New Edition?
We got raked. We didn't know anything about it. We all we wanted to do was perform.
Right.
All we wanted to do was make enough money to go to the movies, buy candy.
Right.
Date girls. That's all we thought about. We wasn't thinking about the
you didn't realize how much money was at stake.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
You said we were treated like little slaves. Why do you think that?
We worked all the time and didn't get paid. New Edition, I think right now we're at our best time because we're together as brothers.
Right.
And we fought a lot growing up. But we're together as brothers. We pray together. We eat together. We sleep together. As far as, we stay in the same building. When we're in the same buildings, you can't touch us.
Wow.
That's the super group.
You had a family. It was family members that actually did the contract the first time around. You still have family doing anything for your contract?
No. Unfortunately not. My brother is still in my life, will always be in my life, but I found that me handling my own stuff, my wife, with my lawyer is a lot easier to deal with than, having, to put that pressure on him.
Some people say you can do it. A lot of people say you can't mix business and family.
Right.
Have you found that it's really, because at the end of that, that's my brother. I don't want my brother to lose his job, but my brother ain't doing the damn job good enough to keep the job. It's as simple as that. This ain't, bro, you still gonna be my brother.
Forever.
But bro,
there's just certain things that you can't depend on family members to do.
Right.
But you have to, still love them the same, and always be there for them.
If I ask you to put a dollar amount on how much money you guys think you lost with that first album, considering that you was making $500 in a VCR and you got a $1.68 royalty, how much money you think you guys missed out on, Bobby? 20 million,
Millions,
30 million?
30 to 40 million a piece.
Wow.
We should have been making that amount of money a piece. New Edition.
Wow. You guys have this run, a group. Do you ever think, before we get into New Edition, do you ever think we'll see a group again? Like New Edition, like we saw New Kids on the Block, we saw NSYNC. It used to be groups.
Right.
Do you ever think we'll see that again, Bobby?
I hope, because, it's an art form that is, it's filled with passion, brotherhood. It's like playing a game of football. You have to depend on each one of the players to do their job in order for you to be successful. And I hope that we see groups come back, bands come back.
How you guys? You went solo first?
I went solo first, yeah.
Because you guys grew up in the same area, you knew each other.
Yes.
So it wasn't like, okay, we got an audition and we're gonna find out who can do this and who can do that. You guys knew each other.
Right.
From the jump. So you already had that kind of bond. What started to happen to make you decide, I think I need to step out and do my own thing?
I was just tired of the bubblegum experience, you know.
You want to be a little bit more hardcore and raunchy.
I wanted to be more hardcore, but I wanted more control over what I did.
Okay.
You know, the songs that I sang, the clothes that I wore. I wanted to have more control. And thank God that I got kicked out of the group at that time.
They kicked you out?
They kicked me out of the group.
So
I was voted out of the group.
So when you found out, hold on, did they find out that you were going solo? Is that why they kicked you out before you actually wanted to exit, or how did this happen?
No, I was kicked out first, and then they found out that I was doing a solo album.
Why they kick you out?
I was just doing the wrong.
So you had a little something to do with that, huh?
I had a lot to do with it.
You had a lot to do with it.
I had a lot to do with it.
So they voted. So did anybody vote to keep you in? Or they all was it unanimous, Bobby gotta go?
I don't know. I think from what I heard, there was 1 against 4.
Damn.
1 against 3.
Right.
That wanted me to
remain.
To remain.
Did you have a conversation? Like, hold on, guys. Look, check this out.
I didn't get a chance to have a conversation.
You didn't?
No.
They didn't even give you that courtesy, Bobby?
No. But these are my brothers.
I know.
These are my brothers.
You guys have been able to come back together.
Yes. And our relationships are stronger than ever.
Did you hope for this moment?
Yes. Yeah. Once I was out of the group and I found a little success, and I found a different way of doing things, and I was successful at doing it that way, doing it my way. I wanted them to know that they could do it in that same form and make more money, you know, doing it that way.
Well, then kind of like, I think Ralph was probably the next one to go solo, right?
No, it was BBD.
Okay.
BBD.
Okay. Right. They went, and then Ralph.
And then Ralph, and then, of course, Johnny was already a solo artist.
Solo. So Johnny came once you left. So Johnny was what replaced you.
No, Johnny was supposed to replace Ralph because Ralph was going solo.
Okay.
So Johnny was put in the group to give the group a new sound.
Okay.
And then Belle Biv DeVoe went up the charts and blew up. And the group just, you know, it was about pieces. And then once we figured out that we have all of these pieces that we can bring back together and form this super group. Why not do it?
Why do you think it's so hard or so difficult for groups that break up? I mean, you see some groups that never broke up, Earth, Wind and Fire, Ohio Player, you know, Brick, Barcase, things like that stay together, and they still touring 40, 50 years later. But a lot of times when groups break up, if they ever break up, they don't get back together. Why do you think that is?
They have no, I don't think they pray enough together. That's the one thing New Edition does. We pray together, you know. We love each other enough to put up with each other's, you know, and put it to the side when it's time to put it to the side. When it's time to work, New Edition will be at the front line, ready to do it, ready to get it on, ready to give the audience what they deserve. And I love that about us.
Looking back, if Bobby could do anything different, what would he do different?
Oh boy, I wouldn't have spent so much money so quick. I mean, I wouldn't buy as many cars and leave them on the side of the road. I would buy cars in each city that I went in. Like if I saw somebody driving down the street in a nice car and I'm on the tour bus and we're in that town for the day,
yeah,
I would ask the person to buy if I could buy their car. And then
so you bought the person's car?
Bought the person's car and would leave it at the airport or leave it at the side of the road or leave it at a hotel.
What the hell wrong with you?
I don't know. I don't know what was wrong with me.
So somebody got a car like, oh well.
It was just a car. But I would not have done that in my right state of mind.
So your financial people like, Bobby, you got to stop this. Your mom, your dad, well, like you said, it was your prerogative. Did you, Bobby, you do realize this isn't normal.
I know.
I understand if you wanted to buy a car, say, man, I really like this car. I'm in this time. I'm going to get this car. Hey, ship this car to Boston or ship this car here. How you buy a car?
I wasn't thinking like that. I don't know.
Y'all heard this man? This man said he would literally buy a car, drive it, leave it side the road, or leave it parked at the airport.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
I wouldn't do that now.
Nah, I know your wife ain't gonna go for that.
No, she ain't. No, she ain't.
The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays. DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in games all the way through the finals, now's the time to back your favorite players and teams as they chase glory. All season long, DraftKings has been the go-to spot for NBA player props, and that doesn't stop now. Want to make your playoff experience even more intense? Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Lock in your bets and make this playoff run unforgettable. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Shannon. That's code Shannon for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Oh, I got a good one for you. I'm gonna give you four. You get four again. Just four. Mount Rushmore groups. So you got Jackson 5, New Edition, Isley Brothers, Temptation, Boys II Men, Earth, Wind and Fire, Four Top.
You just named them all.
No, we got Kool in the Game, SWV, Druid Hills, Jodeci, Destiny's Child, Jagged Edge, Tony Tone, Commodores, OJs, Parliament, The Miracles, Ohio Players, Gladys Knight the Pimp, and the Gap Band. You only get four?
Oh, man. I would have to go with the Gap Band.
Gap, okay. Charlie, Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie, definitely. Jacksons.
Yep. They got to be up there.
They got to be up there. I would definitely vote my group up there,
okay.
New Edition. And last but not least, probably Kool in the Gang.
Okay. I'm sorry, Isley. I'm sorry, Earth, Wind and Fire. He ain't put y'all up there. Ohio Players, Parliament, OJs.
See, that was trickery. That was trickery because I couldn't remember all of the names that he said.
The Temptation and the Five Heartbeats. Did you watch that movie?
I love that movie.
It is.
That movie is such a classic of what groups actually go through.
Really?
Yes. That was a classic group story.
That was my next one. Do these movies remind you of group experience?